What are the last four bourbons to make it into round number 3? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, we're going to be doing our last episode for round number 2 of the NFL Bourbon Madness, and we're going to see which of these last 4 bourbons are going to be the ones to move on to round number 3. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys drop that like, leave that comment down below, smash that subscribe button because we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and we're doing a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. We're giving away a bottle of Blanton's, a bottle of Eagle Rare, and a bottle of E.H. Taylor Small Batch that's going to go away to one lucky viewer. So make sure you guys smash that subscribe button because that's the only way to be involved in the giveaway. And check out the link below for the Instagram. But we've got one thing on our minds today, and that is which of these last 4 bottles is going to move on to the next round. Let me know in the comments below if you are bandwagoning a bottle of bourbon, if you're bandwagoning a team. Let me know down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the nitty-gritty of today's video. Alright, so if you are unaware of how this game works, I highly recommend you go check out the link in the description below to go find the other videos to this. But if you want to hop in now and enjoy the fun, I'll let you know a little bit about this. We had 32 different NFL teams paired up with bottles of bourbons. I do not know what I am drinking in these glasses. They are labeled with numbers. You guys will see what those teams are with the corresponding bottles on the screen right now. We've got team number 6 on the left and team 27 on the right. So whatever team wins on this moves on to round number 3, and we will see which of these last 4 games will have the winners to move on to round number 3. So, as always, we are going to start on our left with team number 6. Quick nose into the palate to see which one wins. Really nice nose. Soft, subtle, sweet. Nothing off-putting. Has a little bit of a minerality to it. I get a little nice honey note on this. I do enjoy this nose a lot. Let's get in the palate. It's got a little bit of an interesting flavor profile. It has a little bit of a malt chocolatey note going on for it. Makes me think it's a little malted, but then it comes forth as a little bit rye heavy. I get a little rye spice, a little rye bread, rye crust. Not quite sure what this could be, but it's really nice, really pleasant, really easy to drink. Has a little bit of a proofiness coming down on that initial sip. Let's get one more sip in this. And this one right here is really pleasant. I like that espresso-y malt chocolatey note that's coming through on this with that little bit of that burnt rye crust. Really nice. But let's move on to team 27 and see what this bad boy is all about. Much different nose. Graham crackers and like marshmallows. This has a little bit of that s'mores vibe going on for it. Lemony, like a lemon custard in a way, like that lemon pie. I like this nose a little bit more than the one on the left. Let's see if I like the palate. Oh man, that's so good. That's so pleasant. It's easy to sip. It feels like it has a little bit more proof because it's just lingering and sitting on my tongue a little bit longer than the one on the left. Wow, I like 27 a lot. This is where it gets really tough because these were all winners in round 1 and moving into round 2. So we're getting tougher and tougher moving forward. And this is one of those where it's just like, wow, this is going to be really difficult to pick out a winner. What subtle nuances do I prefer out of A or B? And I think with this, I think that the longer burn on the one on the right kind of hinders it a little bit because the one on the left has a really nice, long, savory finish with a lot of sweetness in the beginning of that palate without the burn that makes this one on the left edge out the team on the right. So team 27 is moving to the losers, and team number 6 is moving on to round number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our second 1 o'clock game, and we've got team 21 on the right and team 15 on the left. As always, we start left and then we start right. So we are starting off with team 21. Let's see what this bad boy is all about on the nose really quick. Ooh, I don't know if I like that nose. That has a really mustiness to it. It smells like a wet, damp sock. grassy notes, it's starting to come in a little bit more as a sweetness. Whereas those first two, when you put your nose into those glasses, they were very distinctively sweet and very enjoyable. This one, you gotta go in and out to find those nuances in this, because when I put my nose into that, one of the first initial things that I get is, if you are very familiar with like the muck on top of like a still lake or river in a cove or whatnot, where that moss just rises to the top of the water and sits there, it kind of reminds me of that smell a little bit. And I'm not getting much more than that right now. It's got a very, very earthy vibe going for it. So let's get into the palate and see if it can revive this a little bit. Palate is a little bit different than the initial nose. It's not as earthy and off-putting. It's a little sweet, it's a little oaky, it's a little bit more approachable than what the nose was putting forward. And I find a little bit more sweetness on the palate. It's very, very enjoyable off of that palate if you hold your nose and take a sip of this. The second sip, I'm getting a lot more oaky presence on this. Not saying that it's aged any significant amount, but the oaky presence on this is coming forth a little bit more than what I was finding off of those first initial two sips that we had. Let's move on to Team 15 and see what we got going on here. So different, so different. Really, really nice vanilla notes. Like it smells like a warm vanilla. Like if you take vanilla beans and you put them in water with some of those like baking spices and whatnot, and you boil those for like that winter time, like nice smelling essence in the air, this is going to give that kind of nuance to it. I really like this nose. It has a little bit of a darkness to it. Sweetness and darkness. I really, really enjoy Team 15's nose comparative to Team 21. Let's get into the palate. Oh man, Team 15, without a doubt, kicks Team 21's butt. Team 15 reminds me of a little bit of like a green apple, but you're not eating the apple itself. It just has that apple skin. That it's got a little bit of that tannicness, a little bit of that dryingness, a little bit of a bitterness. But some bitterness is not a bad thing, and this is going to be in that category of not a bad bitter. And I really enjoy what this has to offer. It's got a little bit of a spiciness, a dryness, a bitterness, and some sweetness that follows along into that tail end of that finish. And I really, really enjoy 15's palate a lot more than 21. Oh yeah, without a doubt, our second game of the night, Team 15 takes the win and kicks off Team 21. Let's get into our 4 o'clock scheduled games. Before we get into our 4 o'clock scheduled game, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. Leave that comment below, like I asked earlier, what team or what bottle you're following to see which one wins out in this entire bourbon NFL madness. And if you haven't already, smash that like button. It helps the channel out like you wouldn't believe. But we are on Team 32 on our left, and we've got Team 26 on our right. We went left, we went right, and now we are starting off with our left with Team 32. Let's get in this nose and see what this bottle of bourbon or rye has to offer. Wow, okay. A touch of a banana note. A little bit of like that berry quality. Sweetness with a little bit of a floralness. I get rose petals. Why I'm getting rose petals, I don't know. Because I don't ever remember smelling rose petals in a lot of my bottles of whiskeys that I have. But I'm getting rose petals on this. Very, very floral, very sweet. That banana note's there, but it lingers in the background and just comes forward and tickles the back of your nose a little bit. I like this nose. Let's get into the palate. Okay, lots of oaky present on this. It kicks you in the face with a touch of that. It's got a strong oaky bitterness that sits and like just lingers on the tip of your tongue. And it's good in the back of the palate, but in the front of your tongue and the front of your palate, it's really not that pleasant and enjoyable. And we're going to get into Team 26 and see if it's got anything that's a little bit more approachable and enjoyable on that palate compared to this, because it's good, but it's not wowing me and blowing my socks off. So let's get into this glass here. Much different nose. I get a little bit of a yellow chartreusey note on this. Very, very, very floral and earthy. This is really the strangest thing that I get is like a touch of a savory note with a little bit of like a garlic punch. Why am I getting that? I do not know. There's a garlic punch to this, and I'm not quite sure why there's a garlic punch to this, but let's get into the palate. Whatever that is, it's okay, but comparative to the one on the left, this one is just all around a little bit more enjoyable on that initial palate. Yeah, I gotta give the win to Team 32. Team 32 is moving on to round number 3, only due to the fact that Team 26 just doesn't have anything that's punchy and giving it any life and anything that can say I deserve to move forward. Team 32, without a doubt, moving on to round number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our 8 o'clock scheduled game, and we went left, we went right, we went left, and now we are starting on our right again with team number 4 going up against team number 22. And we are going to see which one of these moves on to round number 3. This is our last game of round number 2. This has been absolutely fun, very, very enjoyable. I can't wait to see which one of these wins this entire game. This is so fun. So let's start on our right with team number 4, and really nice color on this, really nice light amber note. Doesn't look super old, but you never know. Let's get in the nose. Ooh, really nice. Berries, cherries, pie crust. Really sweet, really warm, really inviting, nice and light, nothing dark. Very, very inviting. Does not give any off-putting notes on this. I like this nose a lot on team number 4. This one makes me want to put my pinkies up. Let's get into the palate. Oh, that's wonderful. That's creamy. It's not super hot, but it's very, very inviting and very enjoyable. It's sweet. It's viscous. It has a little touch of an oakiness that lingers on the sides of your tongue. Doesn't really go into the back or the front, which makes me kind of really enjoy what this has going on for it. It's really, really nice. Let's get into 22, see what it's got to offer. Whoa, okay. This is a difficult decision on these two noses right here because they are so enjoyable. These are definitely the most enjoyable noses that we had so far today. This is darker, not super dark, not super oaky or like proofy, but it brings in a little bit more richness and robustness on that nose compared to the one on the right. I get a little bit darker, like dark molassesy notes, a little bit more like a dark brown sugar, whereas this one on the right was a little bit sweeter and like a little bit more of that sweeter, refined sugar. Let's get into the palate. Oh wow, I like that a lot. It's a little bit more proofy, I think, than the one on the right, but that doesn't give it the win automatically. It's a little bit proofier, but it doesn't give off the robustness that the palate on the right had. The right was really like rounded off and like tapering and really nice, not sharp edges, really just enjoyable through and through. I really do like that one on the right. It's really nice. Let's give this one on the left one more shot. They're both really good. If I were going off of the nose, I'd go on the left, but we're going off of the palate, and with that, I have to give the win to the one on the right. And team number 4 is moving on to round number 3, which means team 22 is moving on to the losers. So with round 2 in the books, that means we are down to 8 final bottles of bourbons or ryes or whiskeys, and they are as follows. We've got team number 4, team number 6, team 15, team 24, team 25, team 28, team 30, and team 32. These are our final 8 bottles of whiskeys moving into round number 3. Let me know in the comments below which one you think is going to make it into the Super Bowl. We're going to wait a couple of weeks for this round until we get into the NFL playoffs. So let's see what your final thoughts are going to be, and I cannot wait to see which one of these comes out on top. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.